In our case, it is not like that. Our baggage is the one which our baggage means the sense of individuality, having its own rights and wrongs, likes and dislikes, priorities, preferences, desires, cravings, infatuation. So we can't say we are independent. Whereas in the case of a saint, he is free from that. In that sense, we can say he is independent and we are dependent. If the devotee who has written, if they can show us under what particular context this has been referred to. When you say we are independent, we are all dependent, all connected means, when I come to the individual level, not from the static level, when I come to the dynamic level, I exist because of the factors other than me. In that sense, we are all dependent, including the saint. For example, we need the air to breathe in. We need water to drink. We need the earth to exist. We need the space to move about. Like that, all the Panchabhutas, I would have reduced all my needs, but basic needs still I need, no? So under what context this expression has come, that also matters a lot. But it has given us a lot of thinking about it. The first one is, a saint is independent in the sense he is not carried away by, influenced by, impacted by any of the conditionings, because he is free from conditionings. Whereas we people, we are not totally free from our conditionings. Any thought, any word or a deed, before it starts from us, before it emanates from us, to a very great extent it is influenced by these conditionings. This is one aspect. Another aspect is, even a saint is dependent in the sense that so long as he has got an embodied self, though his requirements are very, very, very minimal, still he needs the support of 5 elements. I may be able to forego 3 times food, but still, in Papa's case, a potato. So like that, so in that way we are dependent. So let us try to understand both these aspects, because Papa has prompted the devotee to put this question. We are not worried about the direct answer. What it touches and kindles in us, and then what is the take-home message for me. Second question, reading again the notes about what is said about IQG chapter number 23. Ram does not speak, for speech creates duality. The speaker and the one who listens. Ram is one indivisible. That is why Swamiji said silence has a vital role. Ram does not speak, Ram does not speak in the sense, from the static level. Ram stands for the subtle and mysterious power, which is the all-enveloping, indwelling, all and all-pervading. So there can't be any two. But intuitively we feel. So Ram does not speak. Where does it come? Twenty-three, yeah. This was a dialogue between that person who was arguing. So he said, as a matter of fact, Ram does not speak. The moment he speaks, he is not Ram. Speech creates always a sense of duality, the speaker and the man spoken to. Ram is one and indivisible. It is sheer ignorance for a man whose ego is a great obstruction for his complete realization of the oneness of God to say that he is God. Under that particular context, because from the static level, that means when we go deep down, inward, when we take to inward journey, when thoughts are set at rest. Yesterday we went through that journey, silence. A stage, enter into silence, know the silence, enjoy the magnanimity of silence, become silence itself. Then there is nobody. Realize God now and here. So from that plane, when we come down to the individual plane, he alone is there, but there is a sense of individuality here. Probably Papa would have meant that. Because when you talk about Advaita, non-dualism, from that plane there is no speech. So when that person was arguing with Papa immediately said, at that level, there is no duality. The moment you are talking, you cannot talk about non-dualism when you are talking about it. Because the very talk you have shows duality. There is a questioner, there is a person there is a hearer. There is a talker and the hearer. So duality is there. Under that context...
I put the question to myself.
Then finally he said, I put the question to myself. Then the question would not have come,
Yes.
So it is only under that context. For mine, then he said to remember the world is relative and is by him activated. Forget about it. So that was an important question. Then one was there. Again, one more letter by a devotee to Papa. Dear Papa, when I interact with your manifestation, I totally lose you. I don't feel you. I don't see you. This I already know. I don't experience you anywhere. Only me and mine comes up. I am aware of this bondage, but I am helpless. Please help me. I am trying. Take over this me and mine. Help me to feel, see and experience your presence in all your manifestations. We were talking about having continuous dialogue with the indwelling spirit. Papa's one method is to have proper continuous dialogue with him. Not with anybody outside. So here the prayer, it comes out in the form of prayer. So an honest prayer, I have understood everything that you are everywhere, but the moment I open my eyes and I interact with men and matters, I lose the connection. So help me. It's a pleading. Though you are there very much within me and within everybody, you don't facilitate me to feel your presence inside and outside. Only you can help me out of this. This is a fervent, ardent prayer. Such prayers are necessary. Because we may be talking philosophy, we may be talking so many things. But when I come down to the ordinary run of life, when I react to events and individuals, whether I have been able to maintain this or not, I fail. When I fail, I plead. Enable me to bring in the God dimension. Puja Swamiji himself has written, you remember, we read it out. Before when somebody comes and talks He prepares his ground. It is consciousness floating. So one consciousness is forming the form, in the form of a form, and from this form it says everything is all right. But the moment he starts talking, I come down to the individual level. This is the struggle I am having. This is what he has written in 2003. So this is the practical problem faced by an ardent sadhaka. So to get over this, no external help can solve this problem. So only by invoking his grace, and grace only, we can surmount. It is on those lines that this letter has been written. Pranam.
I have questions.
Ah.
Because I am a good person or bad person.
Huh?
I have knowledge or I have no knowledge.
I have knowledge, I have no knowledge.
Ah.
Good thoughts, bad thoughts.
The final purpose is only to become silent. There is nothing, anything else, nothing is required, anything else.
Nothing.
Nothing except silence.
Silence.
So, silence. So anyone can gain that silent position at any time.
Can we?
Anybody can gain the silence at any time.
Can we?
Can we? Swamiji is asking.
Try?
I mean, if we sit without any tension,
Just to see, it's not academic, whether we are in a position to silence our mind. Think about it. Silence is God.
yes,
Then, are we in a position to do that?
if we try,
If we try, we have to try and see for ourselves.
right.
Because it is not simply possible. To reach that stage is not simply possible.
Okay.
Because the mind should be set at rest totally, it should be free from all hankerings, all conditionings, all cravings,
Yes.
all problems. It should feel content.
Yes.
There is nothing more to be added. When that stage comes, only the purest form of silence can be had. That is why he declared, silence is God, silence is Brahman. Silence is the substratum for the body, mind, senses and pranas.
Swamiji.
1 minute, one more letter. I used to wonder why Papa always insists that chanting is the most powerful sadhana, even though we had many types of sadhana. Now you made it clear, sound is coming from the soundless base. Sound is the most subtle energy originating from the substratum. Like Om dissolves into the substratum. Dear Papa, you have blessed us with a powerful mantra. Through the chanting, bless us to dissolve into you. Every time we are, just like to parents when we go and say, suppose you buy a new cloth before him and get his approval, is it now? We find joy in it. Similarly, though he has been facilitating everything for us to move towards him, every now and then we go to him and say, you have done so much. You have blessed us with the powerful mantra. Through the chanting, bless us to dissolve into you. Take me unto yourself. Papa is bringing out these prayers through so many devotees because these are all the lines in which we can move towards him. Every time seeking inner guidance, every time seeking inner guidance. By having a proper dialogue with him, placing ourselves totally before him and seeking his guidance. At the same time acknowledging what all he has facilitated. For a sadhaka, this will be a wonderful method. Somebody wanted to say something,
Yes, Swamiji. It
Yeah.
seems though that we can taste the silence.
It seems
Eh?
there's the silence.
We can taste it even if there's thoughts. We can still have a taste as we watch the thoughts.
When we watch the thought, we can have
When
taste of it.
when we watch the thought,
We can experience silence.
because this watcher, Sakshi, witness consciousness and silence are synonyms. So you are right. They are all synonyms, different words of expression, that's all. The one which is behind the thought, the one which is the basis of the thought, is the witnessing consciousness. In order that the mind gets right conception, all these words are used, that's all. Because you remember, Papa declares, Watcher is the real you, the self-immortal. Silence is God. Same, So they are all synonyms, that's all. Different ways of interpreting. Yes, then? So many doubts may come up in our mind while we are on the sadhana. It is all natural. So one sadhaka writes, I have been chanting the Maha Mantra for the last 20 years or so with more regularity. And in accordance, all mantras are one, and it is best to stick to one mantra. But as I am drawn closer to Papa, the question has crossed my mind whether I should be chanting Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. I am unsure if I should stick with the mantra, Maha Mantra, or chant Papa's Ram Mantra. What does to hear? These are some doubts, You may chant any name of God with which you are comfortable. Because the purpose of chanting is to remember Atman, who is seated within, and to know that it is the power of the mantra, Atman, that our life is activated in its manifold expressions. That is why beloved Papa says that while we chant, we should try to feel that we are chanting the name of who is within us and who is making us to chant. So when the purpose of chanting is realized, it does not matter what mantra we chant. Purpose is to remember him. The second matter I wish to raise is regard to the Guru. If I am understanding the teaching correctly, Guru is always the absolute divine reality that manifests in human form. All enlightened Gurus are one, just a different form or expression. I always considered Gurudev Swami Shivananda to be my Guru, and I believe him. He put me in the direction of Papa. In the last year, I have considered both forms to be my Guru. But in recent weeks, I have felt a strong inclination to only read Papa's books. A feeling came through that I should now stick to Papa's teachings and as prescribed sadhana. Whenever I do Manasika Guru Puja, I have always visualized Gurudev Swami Shivananji. My question is, what are your thoughts? On question number 2, initially we may see Mahatmas as different from the other. At the same time, we should know that one accepts a Mahatma as one's Guru only when prompted from within. That is why each one's Guru is different, outer Guru is different. That means that the real Guru is inside, who directs us to an outer form, whom we treat as Guru. When this clarity comes to us, we will revere everyone equally. In your case, you may continue to worship Gurudev Swami Shivananji Maharaj and also beloved Papa and draw inspiration from their teachings. The confusion comes only when you feel that everything is done by you, while the truth is that it is He and He alone who guides you from within and without. At that moment, what does it? Where from you get the prompting? If you own it, this confusion will come. This Guru, that Guru, everything. But if you are prompted from within, He will make us to draw inspiration from any source that is needed for us. Throughout Papa's life, we find he was relying on inner Guru. We had just finished one important aspect of it. In the second chapter, Renunciation, though he was strongly prompted from within to take the final plunge, still he was prompted by God, Ram, to refer to the teachings of real evolved souls. So there also it is not that he was prompted to do it. He himself did it. He was prompted to do it. So when we are prompted from within to refer to anybody, then the confusion will not be there. Are we clear?
Yes, Swami. We are very clear.
Speaking the language of God only. But how do we know? So we rely on the inner Guru. Inner Guru is nothing but God, and who gives us the prompting to seek whenever it is necessary from the words of wisdom of evolved souls. So then the confusion will not come. In Papa's Sannyas centenary, Sannyas Silver Jubilee, souvenir was brought out. In that souvenir, a very lengthy article has been written by Swami Shivananji Maharaj. There he says, Anandashram and Ananta Kudir has become one. Ananda Kudir is known as Shivananji Maharaj's headquarters. So he says, Ananda Kudir and Anandashram has become one at that particular level. So that means what? So the confusion comes only when the mind differentiates the Mahatmas. This Guru has said like that, this Guru has said like that. So be guided by your inner Guru. Whatever is needed for your progress, he will guide you from within to seek, if necessary, from outside sources. But the reliance should be on our inner Guru. Reliance should be on our inner Guru totally, especially for a sadhaka when he is on the spiritual path. Otherwise, confusion is bound to come up very often. That's why it is said, the confusion comes only when you feel that everything is done by you, while the truth is that it is He and He alone who guides you from within and without. And we have sent a prayer, Thy Glory, because the Thy Glory, that explains about it. O Lord, I have nothing to ask of you. I am blessed with all that one can hope for, ask for. I have a mind to think, it is thy glory. I have eyes to see, ears to hear, all these are thy glory. I have in front of me a world so vast and so variegated enough for me to express myself. Again, it is thy glory. I can make, I can unmake, all these possibilities are again thy glory. I can even make this prayer to you. This capacity to appreciate you is again thy glory. I seek from thee nothing, for you have given me everything. Inside me, outside me, your presence is something that I can't miss, I don't want to miss. Let thy grace be upon me. This is the most see thy glory. Let thy grace be upon me, not to gain anything new, but to make me see thy glory. In all my achievements, in all my capacities, let me see thy glory. O Lord, I have nothing to ask of you. So if this gets rooted to us in the way suitable to us, then there will be absolutely no confusion. So we are praying, we are seeking His grace only for this purpose, not anything else. Make me aware that you are behind everything. You gave me a human birth. You provided everything for the body, mind, intellect to exist. You provided everything through Mother Nature and society. You are still taking care of me in all respects. The only thing is I am not aware of it. If at all I feel I am aware, I am attributing to causes, different causes, and not to you. But actually now I intellectually understand that you are behind everything, behind the inner and the outer. Please pour your grace on me so that I become aware of this basic fundamental truth. That you are behind every thought, every word, every deed, every manifestation, every situation, every object, every thought. So this was another letter. I think that's all. Anything else? Nothing else. So we go back to the in the cave outpourings. O Ram, keep thy slave always absorbed in thee. These are the outpourings of Papa when he came back after the itinerant effort. No, he was away for 9 months, which is chronicled in the book In Quest of God. After that, he came back to Panchapandava cave. There, the outpourings, heart pourings came, which was also recorded for the sake of all of us. So this is purely a soliloquy, a dialogue between him and the indwelling reality. So Ram is addressed as the indwelling reality. O Ram, keep thy slave always absorbed in thee. He is at once thy slave and thy child. He is willing to serve thee in every way according to the wisdom thou givest him. He is the innocent child looking always for thy guidance and security. Never allow him to leave thy holy feet. O Ram, never put him in a situation in which he would forget thee. We will again read. O Ram, keep thy slave always absorbed in thee. He is at once thy slave and thy child. He is willing to serve thee in every way according to the wisdom thou givest him. We can interpret it as family life, professional life, social life. He gives. But we should be able to connect ourselves with him. That is the only problem. He is willing to serve thee in every way according to the wisdom thou givest him. He is the innocent child looking always for thy guidance and security. Never allow him to leave thy holy feet. O Ram, never put him in a situation in which he would forget thee. So every now and then, because we are all having our own patience with so many, but a periodical reminder is necessary. So reading prayers like this, with all seriousness, with all intensity, it will have some impact on our mind. So even in the midst of so many preoccupations, there will be a subtle effect from our subconscious level to connect ourselves to him. The wordings are so beautiful and touching. O Ram, keep thy slave always absorbed in thee. He is at once thy slave and thy child. He is willing to serve thee in every way according to the wisdom thou givest him. He is the innocent child looking always for thy guidance and security. Never allow him to leave thy holy feet. O Ram, never put him in a situation in which he would forget thee. O Ram, O Mother, save thy humble slave, thy ignorant child. O love infinite, infuse into the arid heart of this child at least a small measure of thy love. O Ramdas, drink always the sweet nectar of Ram's love. O Ram, make Ramdas mad of thee. Mad, stark mad. He wants nothing besides this. Let him talk like a fool only of thee. O Ram, let the world declare him a madman. Yes, mad of thee, Ram. O Ram, purify the mind of thy slave. Let him not see evil anywhere. Let him not see faults in others, but only good. O Ram, have mercy on thy slave. Fill his mind with thy grace. Thou art the sole refuge of thy slave. O protector, loving parent of the whole universe, lift thy slave up from the consciousness of a narrow life in a perishable body. Make him realize the infinite love. O Ramdas, rise, rise above the narrow limitation of your own making. Ram asks you in all love and kindness, speed up, my child, come up. Here is my hand, grasp it, rise out of the bondage in which you are. O love, O life universal, O mother, O Ram, how glorious it is always to bask in the sunshine of thy loving influence. All these are not to be read like this. O Ramdas, rise, rise above the narrow limitations of your own making. Ram asks you in all love and kindness, speed up, my child, come up. Here is my hand, grasp it, rise out of the bondage in which you are. O Ramdas, you are in Ram and out of him. You are everywhere along with him. He is everywhere along with you. He cannot leave you, you cannot leave him. He is tied to you, you are tied to him. You are in his custody, he is in your custody. He cannot do without you, you cannot do without him. He lives in you, you live in him. Still, you are his slave and he is your protector. O Ram, thou art two, but thou art one. The lover and the loved in fast embrace become one. Two become one. One remains, everlasting, infinite, eternal. Love, O Ram, rave on. Mind charged with the madness of Ram's love. Though intimacy has been asserted here, at the same time, Papa reminds himself that he is the slave or a child. These are all something on which we have to ponder over deeply, So every now and then, suppose we go through these heart pourings, it will help us in our sadhana. The dominance of the sense of individuality, it may get lessened, which is very important. The more we become subservient to his power, the faster becomes our progress. So these are all some of the ways by which, we tame, we try to subdue the dominance of this sense of individuality. Because the sense of individuality is hammered again and again of the source from which it draws its very existence.
Swamiji, all hail from all hail means the inner meaning of all hail is the value or a person.
Inner meaning.
The inherent meaning. often it comes, all hail, even from the first page, before first chapter, and here.
We can interpret it in any way.
Yes.
When you go to the Google Baba, he will say to proclaim that somebody or something is very good or very special.
Yes.
Somebody said, Jai Ho, victory to thee. Idea is, he is the truth. He is we are unable to express it in any other form. So let us not get stuck with the words. It is the feeling that matters,
Yes.
The feeling that he is truth, he is love, he is the goal of human perfection.
He is the nobility on the
So that when we become aware of him as the truth, him as the love, him as the goal of human perfection, what wells up in our mind automatically comes out in the form of all hail, or victory, something noble, something.
Swamiji, in Christianity they say Hail Mary. In Christianity they say Hail Mary.
Christianity. They say Hail.
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary. Praise the Lord.
No, let us not confuse ourselves. No, the idea is what the feelings that touch and kindle in us. That is important, Let us concentrate on the first part of it. Ram, the truth, the love, the goal of human perfection.
Values. Good values.
When he says, truth stands for that which stays throughout. It does not change. Eternal. That which is eternal is called truth. When he says love, it is absence of otherness. When he says goal of human perfection, completeness. Purnatvam. Flawlessness.
Absolute existence.
Absence of
Absolute existence.
Absolute
existence.
Whatever way, let us not be guided by what we get from others. When we say all these things, what feelings that come up in our life, that matters. We can interpret it in our own way. Feelings are his expressions. Thoughts are not his expression. Thought comes from outside. Feelings are our own.
Yes.
Thought helps us to generate these feelings. That's all. So let us not get stuck with the thought. Let us be guided by the feelings. When we say something, what wells up in our mind, we cannot explain that. We cannot put it in words. Compassion, how can we say that? It is a just feeling, You become one with the other. In Malayalam, beautifully it is translated. Sahanubhuti. Saha Anubhuti. Feeling the sameness, Sameness in other.
Swamiji, it is the same word in Marathi also.
Marathi also same word.
Sahanubhuti. So it is a feeling, Suppose we try to analyze it in the literal way, we will not enjoy it. But the moment we hear this, immediately, we should be transported to that realm. It is becoming one with others. It can't be put in any other word. How can I, a sense of body, mind, intellect, can become one with another who has got a body, mind, intellect? So all those things, the thought will make us to confuse. But just leave it like that. The feelings, You are near somebody whom you don't know. He has lost his step. He is likely to fall. instantaneously, spontaneously, you will go and try to do whatever is possible for him. It is not the thought that propels you to do it. It is the feeling of oneness that propels you to do it. So let us be guided by the feelings. So when we say hail, what does it? We can go to some extent with the literal meaning. And what exactly it generates in us, it kindles in us, that is more important. When Narada told him to repeat Ramnam, he couldn't utter. So he said Mara Mara. So it is not the technical, it is not the academic that matters much. But with what perspective he chanted, that took him to the heights. Nowadays we are purely guided by our thoughts. That is the problem we are facing. The feelings are there in our heart, purest form of feelings, if we are trying to guide that feeling with the thought. Whereas we stand before, for hours together, we stand before the deity, We are in the queue, we move, we stand before the deity, our Ishtadevata, chosen deity. The moment we are there and we have the darshan, what happens in the split second, need not explain, need not try to put it in the limited words, but that you and I can understand, that feeling.
Inner feeling.
Devotion, bhakti.
Devotion.
That is important. That one moment, split second. By the time somebody will say, push, go. But in that split second, what was your experience? That is for that only you stood in the queue for hours together. You underwent all inconveniences because you were pining for this darshan. And darshan maybe for a split second. But what did you get from that? Can you explain? You can't explain. Normally we come out and say we had good darshan, first class darshan, top class darshan. All those words we say. But what exactly we experience, we will not be able to convey. So Papa wants us to concentrate upon these feelings. Thoughts do help us, but it's also a hindrance. We should leave it at a particular place and rely on the inner experience.
Swamiji, when Papa had experience of silence, he got lot of joy. So silence and joy, they are connected.
Yesterday we mentioned that, that is the base of peace and joy. You remember?
Absolute.
Forgotten.
Pureness, absolute.
Silence is bliss.
Silence is?
Bliss, absolute.
He says, Papa says, it is at this source that we discover the eternal fountain of peace and joy.
Here, page number 170, fame, name, wealth, religion, friends, all mirage, nothing real, nothing true there. Mind fixed on wrong derives infinite peace, infinite bliss, For from its love, from its kindness, from its joy. Everything, all the 61 malas.
Peace is silence, Atman is silence, God or Brahman is supreme silence, soul is silence. Be still and know that you are God. Calm the mind. So peace and joy, it is at this source. When we recede into the depths of silence within us, we arrive at the true basis of our life. We discover that from this source, all life and manifestation have come forth in their amazing variety and multiplicity. Out of silence, tremendous forces are released, wonders are worked. Learn to be silent. It is not merely outer silence, but inner silence, silence of the mind. So that is, so peace and joy, it is at this source that we discover the eternal fountain of peace and joy. The source is silence. So many words they have used, that's all. Unless and until we reach that stage of silence, which cannot be expressed. Something approximating that has been brought out in the form of these limited words. For the sake of us, he has conveyed these through these words, that's all. So when
we are experiencing joy and everything, that means we are somewhere on some stage. When final stage comes, there is no any happiness or unhappiness or nothing. We are beyond all those things.
Correct. That is why we said, we let not our thought analyze this. Let us be on the process, and the outcome of the process will be experienced. Why not we put ourselves on the process and see for ourselves, experience for ourselves. Some guidelines have been given with the limited words. Whatever explanations or anything that we hear, it is not distorted, but it is not full and complete. It might help us. It does not necessarily help. It is not a must that we should know all these things. Without all these things also we can. The other day we shared with you, when somebody came to Swamiji and said, I don't know any Shastras, I don't have this knowledge of any. Then Swamiji said, 75% of the problem is over. Because the thought level, the harassing thoughts are not there. Only an innocent mind comes and says, I don't know anything, I want to know him, that's all. An innocent mind says, I don't know anything, but I want to know him, that's all. So Swamiji said 75% of the problem is over. Now concentrate on this. With the help of Nama, you try to go within. That's all. Anyway, let us all do some serious thinking, and let us be on the process.
Swamiji, like we leave our footwear outside. We have to leave our ego outside.
Leave our ego outside.
Just like to leave our footwear outside.
Footwear, how we live, like that we should live.
It's all nice to hear. But we will never leave the footwear outside. Difficult. So those words help us to live, But the leaving should be done by us, you know. That means we should be on the process.
That's right. Swamiji, you put us on the process. That we are not worried now. You have already put us on the process.
We are. Don't worry, we are all on the process. That's why these questions come. So let us accelerate. Speed up. That's why today he made us to, child, extend your hand. I will lift you up. We have not extended our hand. We are telling like this, God, come, action. Here. Anyhow, nice to dwell on these points. Let us pray to Him to give us the needed push from inside to be on the process and enjoy the results by ourselves. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.